If you guys, I want your cameras on. I want you to have your notebooks next to you so that way you can take notes. This is our Leader of Leaders call. In order to get an invite on this call, you either needed to complete the steps to success or have 10 new enrollments from last month, and then run your auto shipment on the 1st. I think that's super important as leaders that we are commission qualified on the 1st of the month. And so that way you can rank up, hit that 500 club, go executive, go Ruby, Emerald, Diamond sooner in the month. So that way you can promote to the next promotion and help your team promote. So thanks you guys for being on. There's still a couple that aren't. So they might hop on later or they're just going to have to catch the recording, which is totally fine. But you guys, timing is everything in this. It is like God's divine intervention, because I messaged Barb last August to be on a team call with us. And she never even saw the message until about 3 weeks ago. And what Barb doesn't know is I went diamond in I tried to go diamond in June of 2015 it was. And I was all over YouTube searching how to go diamond in 5 days, how to go diamond fast, how to go diamond in 30 days. And her video popped up from forever ago. How to go diamond in 9 days is what she did it in. And I watched that video and I tried to duplicate everything that she said. So thanks to her, I earned a $10,000 bonus back in 2015. So thank you for that. But, I just think that this is the divine time because she has an incredible story. Obviously, most of us were at conference and we heard her on stage. She's a top income earner and she knows what she's talking about. And what a perfect time, like I said, this is God's divine intervention for her to be on this call with us. So that way she can just kind of tell us what we honestly need to do. So pull out your red. We're not scared of work. We want to know exactly what it's going to take us to get diamond and help our teams get diamond and really develop that leadership mindset. So I'm just going to have you start with where you're from, how long you've been in the business, your story, how you got started, all that good stuff.
For sure. So my name's Barb Houser. I'm from Ontario, Canada, and I have been in the business for 6.5 years now. I joined April 21st of 2013. And it was, a crazy, crazy adventure right off the bat. I love it. You're like, bring your red. And it's so funny because I want you guys to drop in the chat and let me know what your color personality is, because I think it's really interesting how we all work the business differently, but yet we all can be successful. And I think a lot of people assume that I went diamond in 9 days because I was so red. And that video that I made, I talk about all the steps that I took and how I got there. But honestly, guys, you have to know your why and you have to get your heart in alignment. And that's what I can say is, I was very green, yellow when I started this business. And so it's kind of crazy to me even that I went diamond in 9 days. But I'm fortunate that my heart had cultivated me a network of people who trusted me and who believed in me. And I had a lot of people that were willing to take a chance with me when I first jumped into this opportunity. And I also moved very quickly because once I saw what I had my hands on, I felt really bad for turning it down for a year, because the girl that had asked me for a year, and she was going for a triple diamond bonus. She had a $25,000 bonus on the line for her, and she needed a diamond. And so she brought me in under her husband and said, if you could just go Ruby, which was 5 people at the time. And you know what? I felt bad for having made her hold out on me for so long. I was like, oh, she might have been there if I joined a year ago. And so I really was pushing a lot because, I thought, well, if I can help her. So my yellow came out, right? And so I think it's important as a reminder to you guys as leaders to share your goals with your team and to let them know where you're going, because sometimes you're going to have those yellow people on your team who will be more motivated to work hard to help you than they are to help themselves. And in turn, they end up helping themselves, right? Like Zig Ziglar always says, the more we help other people, the more we help ourselves. And I love how beautiful this business is, that it really does work that way. And so my desire to help her reach her bonus pushed me super hard. I went Ruby, a couple days into my business, just pulling people in from my network. And I didn't know what I was doing in terms of charting. I was really trying to figure it all out. But I was able to bring in those 5 people. I had a party and I had 3 people that wanted to join at my first party, and I only had 5 people there. so it was neat that I was like, okay, I helped you do it. And then she was like, I can't find the people on the other side. And I was like, I can keep trying, and within those few days of me bringing in a few people to run towards Ruby with me, I realized I had joined in a period where if you joined before the end of April, you had 3 months to go diamond. And I'm so excited to be able to share this with you guys today, because we need to have the same urgency this month that I had in those first 9 days of my business. Because as far as we know, it's only people who join this month that are going to have 3 full calendar months to work towards that diamond bonus. And I knew as soon as I joined and I was able to bring a few people in a few days, I was like, I can totally do diamond in 3 months. And so it truly wasn't about me pushing for me. I didn't need to go diamond in 9 days for me. I went diamond in 9 days to help someone else. And I think it just, that's how God really revealed to me like everything that was possible with this business. I had no idea what I'd gotten my hands on, and it was kind of crazy. Just seeing the heart of the company. And I'll share this with you guys. It's part of the story I don't share all the time because I don't want people trying to call customer service and, have extensions made. But when I joined back in the day, we were taking orders on paper and we were coming home and trying to put things into the system. I am not a computer person. And the girl that I joined with was not a computer person, and I didn't know how to chart. So literally I was like, I'm just going to try and find the people and then we'll figure it out and see what we can do, And so it ended up happening that I did a party that last day of the month that I didn't get home from until 11:30 at night. And so we sat, and then I tried to figure out like where I was supposed to put people and what was supposed to happen to structure them properly and call all of these distributors and order into the system and get them in. And we just couldn't get them in time. The system was overloaded, as it often is at month end. It was back on our old system, and it ended up that midnight came and went, and we hadn't reached our goals because we just didn't have everything in time. And so, that brought out I was so devastated for her, because I knew I had all the people now. Diamond was going to roll over the next month for me. But I called customer service and I was like, I need to speak to somebody that can help me. And I ended up going up and up and up and up until I ended up getting who at the time was Denise Walsh's BAM, little did I know. And fortunately, they were able to go in and shuffle everything around and get it in the right places for me. And I got to figure out a lot in that, crunch time of trying to organize my charts. And I got to call my upline and say, I know you didn't think you got your bonus, but you got your bonus. So, it was really cool just seeing that the company, I was like, what company does that, right? It was a $10,000 bonus for me and a $25,000 bonus for her. And they did not have to do that. But that just showed to me the integrity of who this company is and that they truly want to see us win. And so don't ever go and try and get extensions made based on me telling you this story. But, just so we do work for the most incredible company that really is there to support us every single step of the way. And they want to make it as easy as possible for us to maximize everything that they put out there for us. So in my first 9 days, I literally was like, I don't know who needs this. I was the person that said no for a year. And I'll tell you, I had been to a party. I tried a wrap. The girl came and was like, put this on and you'll get skinny. And we drank alcohol all night. We didn't take pictures. And at the end of the night, I was like, what a scam. So I went around, and for that year that I was saying no, I was actually saying it works as a scam. So we all have those people in our life, and don't give up on them, guys, because sometimes they're just not in the right place. And for me, it was my mom getting diagnosed with cancer. That was that transition and that trigger for me where I was looking for health. And I had looked at It Works and written them off because I thought they were this gimmicky wrap company that just didn't make sense to my very green, overthinking brain. And so for me, it was when my mom was really sick, my girlfriend saying to me, listen, you need to get your mom on these greens. And I was like, okay, you know what? Hit me while I'm down. My mom's not doing well. Try and pitch a product at me. And I was like, just send me your ingredient list and I'll look at it, really just to kind of put her off. And the green in me loved. She sent me that ingredient list while we were on the phone. And I was like, oh my gosh, this product is way better than I thought it would be coming from this company. Maybe I've overlooked something. And so she kept saying to me, oh, there's all this opportunity in your area. Like, you really should just jump on board with the business. And I was like, I am not interested in your business. I was actually with another direct sales company at the time. I'd been in direct sales for several years doing home party business, where I wasn't really making a whole lot of money at the end of the day. And I kind of lost my faith in the industry. Needless to say, also had my husband. So he wasn't really on board with the idea of me starting a new business. But I said, I'll host a party for you if you ever want to come out here. And guys, she lived in a different province than me. And she said, what are you doing next weekend? And she flew out to do my party for me because she saw something in me. Now, I know we're not all in that situation, but I think it's cool to say sometimes we got to take that leap of faith. And when we feel like someone's really supposed to be a part of our business, we just got to go for it, and make them a priority. So she came out, I had my party, 3 people signed up from my party, and it just snowballed from there. I called everyone I knew and I was like, listen, I don't know if this is going to be for you. I don't even know what this is. I don't even know if this is for me. I don't know if I'm going to do this. But what I know is there's a $10,000 bonus on the table for people that are willing to work hard for 3 months. I know people that have personally done this. So I can't say it doesn't work. And if she can do it, I can do it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, but what if you could do it? Like, I know that you could do it if you wanted to. And so I was like, will you give me 5 minutes of your time for a conversation? And even better, will you give me 45 minutes of your time, because the wrap was our signature product and I needed to go out there and get the wrap on people. And so I literally joined after my party, my launch party. And I bought a big booster pack. Being broke is a joke, I borrowed money from a friend to buy a big booster pack, because she said, if you want to earn this bonus, then you kind of need to you need to go all in and you need to commit. And again, just reminders, guys, we have to talk to people about booster packs. So for me, I was like, this is a no-brainer. I got to tell everybody that was joining, like, you got to join with a booster pack. And people were joining. And at the time, that was 32 wraps that you got in your booster kit. That's it, right? And so I was like, well, I don't have the money for this. I got to pay this girl back. I need to go out there and sell these wraps. And so I was hustling and saying, like, let me just put a wrap on you. If it's not for you, cool. It's $30, but it's like, if it works, you'll be excited anyways. And I was going and I sold $1,500 worth of wraps in my first month in the business, selling out my booster kit and needing more. And I had many people that joined, and I was like, listen, you need to get a booster kit. And I would say probably 75% of the people that I joined bought one of the booster kits, right? And so I was getting them to commit, because now they had product that they didn't want to get stuck with either. And I'm like, all right, you got to book a party in the next 10 days. We have to have 2 parties in the next 10 days. And so I was doing that, going out and doing launch party after launch party after launch party. And I was doing like one-on-one appointments during the day. And then I'd get them to book a party 2 days later. And so for those 9 days, I did probably, between parties and one-on-ones, probably about 30 of them. Wow. And I was just getting in front of people because my energy was contagious. And you know what? The thing was, is I wasn't even sure what I was going to make of it. I wasn't using social media at all at this point, guys. So not a single post went up on my wall that would have told you I had gotten involved with this company. But I was calling people, and that personal connection of me saying, hey, listen, I know you're a really good business person. I know you're somebody who's into fitness. I know you're somebody that likes to look good. I know you could use some extra income. Will you just take a look at this? Because what if it is for you? And so it just, things took off very quickly. We went diamond, and it just, that momentum was crazy, because I'll tell you guys what happened was I signed 18 out of the 24 distributors that we needed back then for diamond myself. And I had one of my girlfriends, she signed up, and then she signed up like her husband and her son and her sister, I think it was. Anyways, so we pretty much built her Ruby out of people that weren't working. And I was signing customers, we were moving everything around. And then the next day she was like, oh, you know what? My husband's not happy. I'm sorry. I got to cancel everything. So we went diamond, and I had an entire Ruby quit. The other thing is I didn't know that there was like volume maintenance to actually keep my diamond and that $10,000 bonus I'd earned. And so it was like, oh my goodness. Okay. I ended the month with 7,400 in volume, which was like the bare minimum to hit diamond. And I needed to get it up to 10,000 the next month with a whole Ruby falling off. And what really propelled that momentum and helped us get there and sustain there was doing parties. And every single distributor, I was having them do 2 launch parties in their first 10 days. And we were doing them 3 days apart. So it was like you come out and your guests could come and wrap. And if they love the results from the wrap, they're coming back 3 days later to wrap again. And at that point, it could also be their launch party, because if you go home and tell people about your results, bring them back with you 3 days from now. And if they decide they want to be customers, you can be a distributor and get a shopping spree. And so it was, the whole way that our system works. I love it, guys. And I know that the kit has shifted a little bit for you guys in the US, and we don't have those sample kits yet. So I can't really speak to that because I haven't put my brain into the numbers of it. But, with what comes in the kit, it was like, you've got samples. You've got enough to do a party. Same thing with you guys. I think it's, you get 7 sampler packs, right? So is it 21 coffees?
Mm-hmm.
So you could do 21 parties, really, because all you need is 1 cup of coffee, and you go to the dollar store and buy shot glasses, and you've got enough for everybody to sip and sample. But the reason that you want to get people in the room is to feel your energy and your excitement and your confidence in the products. And being able to put wraps on people, they're seeing results in 45 minutes, but with the coffee, it can be love at first sip. So I love that we get to invite people into this intimate space where we get to know them. And this is such a relationship building business. And that was it. I was spending time with people for 45 minutes, and they were sharing with me their most vulnerable areas of, the things that made them self-conscious physically, which also, guys, don't forget to still sell the wraps, because they're very unique, and that personal experience and the way that you can boost someone's self-confidence is amazing. And
so I want to talk a little bit. I want to back up just a little bit. Cause I didn't even know that part of your story that you joined just to help her, and, I think that's a really important piece of the puzzle, is like knowing our team's color personalities and like letting them know. Cause like I've been in the business for 5 years, and some leaders say like, don't let your downline know what you need, because if they know what you need, then they're going to expect you to do it for them. But other people are like, no, if you need me, like, I'm going to work harder for you than I'm going to work for myself. So I love that. And that's something that I definitely need to look at my organization and be like, listen, like, I need you as this diamond, as this double, as this triple. Like, are you up for it? Like, I can't do it for you, but like, let's do it together. And then another part that I love about your story is talking about like booking party after party after party. And, I feel like when I first started, that's how I grew really fast too, is with parties. And then now we've just been consumed with all the different platforms on social media. But now we're getting back to pop-ups and parties again. And I think it's really important that you have one that leads to another, and keep the momentum going, rather than just like one, whenever, however, wherever it feels like. And even with social media too, like once you get that customer, can they host a post for you? And can those people host posts? And like just keeping it going, and that momentum, I think is what will drive your sales and drive your promotions faster. So I just thought that was cool. So a couple of questions for you is, when you grow so fast and you have no idea what you're doing, and then your ruby leg falls off, and you have all these distributors, would you kind of speak to how your mindset has shifted, like how you develop that leader mindset, and creating different systems and working with an upline versus going out on your own and being your own person and taking control of your team and leading them, Can you kind of touch on those kinds of things?
Yeah, for sure. Well, like I said, my husband, had also kind of lost faith in the industry from things I had tried before. And so he was not on board when I joined at Works, and was like, can you just get a real job? Like, enough of this playing on your phone. And like, we were not in a good financial situation. We literally had already gone delinquent on our mortgage once. It was just like, we were not in a good place. The stress level between the two of us was awful. And him not believing in me was a big part of what pushed me, because I felt very desperate. My mom had been given less than 3 months to live, and I felt like time was super limited, and we weren't in a place where I could even afford the gas money to just pick up and go and see her. And I was afraid that I was going to lose those moments with her because of where we were at. And this was my lifeline. This was the thing that gave me hope to think, I I don't have the gas money, but if I could sell some extra wraps this week, I could have the gas money. And when I started to see that that was possible and that I could earn the gas money, you know, with me going diamond, and, you know, it seems like I'm doing really well in the sense that I went diamond right away, but I came from doing a home party business where I was out partying 25 nights a week or 25 nights a month. And so, you know, I literally, um, I didn't see him at night. Like, we were like ships in the night. He'd come home from work, he'd be stuck in traffic, I'd leave. And it was just, it was tough. And so, I had been doing this business where I was making enough cash money doing my parties all the time, but it wasn't residual. It wasn't long lasting. It wasn't sustainable. And so that had been kind of getting us by. And when I joined It Works and was going to kind of do it on the side, to be honest, I had to make a choice between the two companies because I couldn't do both. And I was in a situation where I was like, I didn't plan on building a business with It Works. I joined to get the shopping spree and to help my girlfriend, and then was just trying to help her and got caught up in that. Didn't really think about the long term. And like, then I had to let this other business go where I was actually making more money than I was making as a new diamond with It Works. And so we were in this kind of delinquent state where he's super frustrated with me. And I'm like, I got to make this work. I have to make this work. And so that drive, I think, to prove him wrong and to prove to him that I knew I had seen something here that could be real. And it was like we had the Success or the Freedom magazine back in the day. I don't know if you guys have seen it, the Success from Home that was debt free. And they had listed all of the people who had earned the $10,000 bonus. They had their picture in the middle of the magazine. And I was like, these are real people. Like, if they can do it, the people on my team can do it too. And so I just made my focus helping my team get there, and doing as many parties as I could. So I'm out there selling wraps, hustling, you know, in that respect. And the mindset had to come from somewhere else because I didn't have the support at home. And I was the leader for my team. My own leader didn't live in my province. I got her where she needed to be. And to be honest, my upline is not involved in the business now, right? So I didn't have a lot of support for a long time in the business, and I needed to find that drive in myself. And I started listening to John Maxwell. And that was a huge thing for me, listening to the 5 levels of leadership and deciding that it was really up to me to raise the lid on my leadership and to decide where I wanted to be. And that I couldn't let my husband keep my mindset small. I couldn't let, you know, I had to dream big for this team of 24 people that had come on trusting me. And I had to prove to them that they had done the right thing by joining, by helping them earn their own bonuses. And coming from home party too, guys, side note for anybody who's been with other businesses, it's easy in home party for you to be the only person that's doing really well. If you are a hard worker, you can be the one that's making a lot of money, but the people on your team necessarily aren't. You don't structure teams. You don't get to place people and, you know, build communities that way. And coming here, I was like, that's always been my heart, is to help other people. So I'm just going to do that. And so if you don't have the right people in your circle, honestly, plug into personal development. It's like Jim Rohn, John Maxwell, like who resonates with you, who fires you up. Like, I remember driving in my car to a party, listening to John Maxwell and fist pumping in the air. Like, it was the first time I'd ever really listened to personal development. And I was like, this is going to change the game for me. Like, I'm going to raise the lid on my leadership. Hearing about these different levels and being like, wow, I've actually been higher than a level 1 leader before in different things I've done. Why can't I do it here? You're starting over and you've got to build it up. And so that was really where the mindset, I think, came for me. And also, just as a Christian, it was huge for me joining the business. And when I ordered my personal development, you used to be able to order it in the store. We had all of our clothing and stuff was in a separate It Works store. And so I went online to order a t-shirt because part of the reason that I wanted to join was seeing a girl in a training video who was wearing that "It Will Change Your Life" shirt. And at first it was like, it will change your life. Like, who actually wears a shirt like that around? And then I was like, who actually wears a shirt like that around? Like, that's super cool. If you can feel confident and rock that out, feeling like that's a true statement that you can wear proud on you. And so I wanted that t-shirt. And so that was like the first thing that I bought when I signed up. And then I get in the store and they had all this personal development. So I bought, the John Maxwell set, and then I bought a bunch of books. And the girl that I joined with was not someone of faith. And so she had never shared with me that kind of heart of the culture of the company. But I got these books that were like Count to 10 and Be Healthy, and the 10 Keys That Cure. And it was like 10 keys that cure, like biblical truths on how God intends food to heal your body. And Count to 10 and Be Healthy is like a kid's book, all about how like God gave each of us an earth suit, and our earth suits come in all colors, shapes, and sizes, but we all have the same job to take care of our earth suit. And prior to It Works, I was a teacher and I ran a licensed daycare center. And so my heart has always been for children, and just, it was totally a God thing, the way that it all worked out with me getting those items and opening it up. And I remember literally being on my knees in my front hallway and just being like, this is so much more than I knew that it was. And so that was where I think I really committed more, because I wanted to be a part of a company who really stood for integrity and made a difference. And so, yeah, so that was me getting my head in the game. Had a lot to do with personal development, getting over the negativity, and knowing that people much more conservative background, and us focusing on the wraps at the time, it seemed a lot like this company was just about like vanity and money. And so my own greenness, I had a hard time, getting past that. And I was like, I have to just recognize that people are going to be negative out there, but people need this, like whether they want to admit it or not. Every woman wants to feel a little bit more confident in her skin. And it may not be the people in my circle who want this right now, but there are people out there who want this, and someone's finding them. All these faces in this magazine, they have all found enough people. So if they can do it, I can do it too. And we're still new. I mean, Canada is so small compared to the US in terms of the business. It's like our international markets, guys, are wide open for us. And there are so many people who are waiting for us to be able to share this life-changing product line and business with them. I mean, we got my mom started on the greens, and this is a private call, and I'm not making claims about the products, but we saw drastic things. Like her cancer numbers were like up over 1,000. That's why they said she'd had less than 3 months. But she started just dropping. Her numbers were dropping and dropping and dropping with every appointment that she had. And she stayed with us for 5.5 years after her diagnosis. Wow. And because of It Works, I got to go and be there. I got to go and take her to all of her chemo treatments in the last year of her life. I never missed a moment. We had experiences that we never would have had. And, that is what's precious. And that's why everybody needs this business, is you don't know what's going to happen. This summer, my son got an ear infection that ended up putting him in the hospital for 12 days. And he almost had a brain infection, and things could have been really serious. But I didn't have to worry about calling a boss or, doing any of those other things. I was able to feel productive working my business while I sat by his bedside. And I looked around at all these other parents in the unit. And when I was with my mom, looking at all these people that are there during chemo, who had to ask a boss for time off, who probably got in trouble at work for all the amount of time they're taking off, who are trying to work while they're there because they have to, not because they can and they want to, and it just made me realize everybody needs this freedom. You don't know when it's going to happen that you are struck with life where you need that freedom.
Well, and it makes me think of the part of your story, like how many of us know people that are struggling, and we're like, well, we don't want to message them because like we want to sell to them. And even like you said, you're like, oh great, hit me while I'm down. But like, if she would never have messaged you and like sent you the ingredients list, or like thought like, listen, I really think that this will help, like, would you even be here? And so it's just crazy that even though sometimes it makes you uncomfortable to maybe reach out to someone who is struggling, or like call them on the phone, like, I know that you need this. Like you said, you don't know when people are going to need it, officially. So I love that. So I have 2 more questions for you. And if anybody else has questions, drop them in the chat. All of my team is from the US. And so we are looking to expand into other countries. And so I don't know I am not well traveled at all. And so like, how is the culture in Canada different than here? And like, how do you approach people? Is it the same? Like, does it matter? Or is there tips that you could give us?
Yeah, for sure. You know what? I think it's always about like building rapport with people. Um, if you ever, I don't know if you've ever heard of Big Al, but Big Al is another personal development guy that
So
I
good.
love. And I've gotten to see him in person a couple times, and he's like this short little, like, he's pretty much elderly now, like bald, white-haired guy. And he's just all about old school networking. And that's how I was brought up in this industry before we had really cell phones. And like, it sounds so weird because I'm not that old, but I grew up learning the old school way of networking, of like having a Rolodex, connecting with people, going for coffee meetings, that kind of thing when I first came in. And so I loved it. I went for this training with him, and he was like, okay, there's 4 things you have to do when you meet people. You need to, your goal is obviously that you want to close them. So you are going to do a presentation, and you're going to break the ice, and you need to build rapport. And he's like, what order do you do those 4 things in? And it was so interesting because literally all of us like wrote down our numbers in order. And then he kind of changed it all up, and he said, before we do anything, we have to build rapport. Before we even break the ice, we build rapport. Because if you think about it, commercials are like 13 seconds because people have decided in the first 13 seconds if they're interested. I don't know why we think we bring people in and we have this 45-minute long presentation to close them. And so that whole concept was like, okay, we've got to build rapport first, then you break the ice, but then you close them before you even do your presentation. And I was like, okay, that is gold right there, because you realize like you can't just talk your way through convincing somebody. Like, they've already decided, and they're sold on you before they're sold on the opportunity. So it really does depend on that connection you make with people. And that's why I love doing this business face to face, because I find it easier to read personalities in person. But I mean, you can absolutely acquire that skill online as well. But it was like, if I can go and build a rapport with people, I think that is key. I'm trying to remember where I was going there. Getting derailed with that.
No,
but
and I think it's really that simple. We had the France, the one who's over the France FDR, come for like a little team meetup, and she
yes,
kind of said
definitely.
the same thing. She's just like, be a friend, like just be a friend. Like, we don't need to make it complicated. Okay, so Sarah has a question in the chat. How do you keep your team on fire? That's what everyone wants to know, right? How do you keep that momentum
The
going?
thing is, you can't really keep your team on fire. And it's hard to find that balance too, of like empowering your team where you don't always do it for them or don't always show them how it's done, so that you can let those leaders rise up. I remember when I first started in the business, it was like I was the only one posting on the team page. And now I try, like, I don't post nearly as much on my team page because I want my team like coming out and running and sharing that. But I can encourage that by doing things like when I do a coaching call with someone and they share with me a win, to say, oh my gosh, go share that with the team, and just kind of cultivate that environment. And recognition can be huge as well. So I know, Tamika, you're super green. I feel like I'm letting my green out more on this call, just sharing with you guys. But in your reports, like, I love to go to my genealogy report. And if you click on the enrollment date twice and you flip your list around, you can see who came into your organization most recently and who enrolled them. So if you check that every night and just send out a message to people and say like, congrats on your new loyal. And, also when you're trying to help your team chart and you're trying to promote quickly, to say like, hey, congrats on your new loyal. Have you thought about where you're placing them yet? And help teach people that mindset of like how to go about that. That can definitely help make a difference in keeping them motivated. But just, I think we have to be self-motivated. Finding the accountability of working with other people is huge. But the self-motivation of like personal development is so key. Cami said to me, our business needs to be worked in thirds. Like, a third of our business should be working with our existing team, customers, and business. A third of our time should be spent building new, and a third of our time should be doing personal development. And it sounds like a lot, but honestly, if you don't grow yourself to the next level, then you can't elevate your team to the next level, and you can't attract people that are at the next level. And in the beginning of your business, you'll go through a higher number of people. We talk about the 80-20 rule, like 20% of people are doing 80% of the work. And in the beginning, you honestly have to find like more people to find that 20%, because in the process, you're going to learn a lot about yourself in your leadership. And there's some people that come into this business for seasons that are more about helping you grow than it is about what they're going to get out of the business. And so I think just learning to like step back and not let anything that happens in your business frustrate you. Every time you feel that frustration with your team where you're like, oh, why aren't they working? Why aren't they as motivated as I am? Step back and say like, what can I learn in this situation? How can I inspire them more? What might they be needing right now that I could offer to them? Those would be, I think, more of the questions that I would try and ask, just so that you can't make anyone be motivated, but you can inspire them. And people often don't succeed because they don't believe in themselves. So pour belief all over people and be loud enough with your confidence that they can borrow it from you until they get their own.
And I love that too, like, because I feel like a lot of people, like, they're doing stuff, and recognize the right behavior and be like, hey, like, go share that. That's awesome. And like giving them that like empowerment to share that and like be proud of them and let them kind of shout it out themselves rather than us always doing it and letting like the leaders rise up. So I love that. So the last thing that I kind of two-part question is, like, what would you say that your schedule looks like? You talk about a third. So like, what would you say is your schedule? And then how are you launching your new distributors? Like, what's your game plan for diamonds in 30 days or 9 days or whatever?
Well, it's funny because, I think this weekend at conference, like I've just been getting really reignited over the fact that I think that parties are the way to go. And for a couple of years, I really shied back from talking about how I excel in this business because I felt like everybody wanted that kind of easier, or so they thought, business of working from the comfort of their couch. And I just decided to get loud. And, every time people were asking me at conference about tips and stuff, I was like, you know what, this is what we need to go back to. Like, you will have higher sales when you get people in a room and they try a variety of products than when you're trying to get someone interested in one thing that you're posting about online. And when I do parties, like I would say 95% of people at my parties will buy the all-in pack. And that is something that I just will, on a side note, encourage you guys all to use, because I think a lot of people don't recognize the value of the all-in pack that we have. It's like if someone is interested in buying the keto coffee, the collagen, and the chocolate greens, in the US, it's $200 if you buy those 3 products individually. But if they buy the all-in pack, it's $199. So they save $1. They get all 3 of those products for the month, and they get a free bag of keto energy, a free pack of wraps, and a free tube of defining gel.
Wow. I didn't even think of it like that.
Right? I'm
Right.
all about free stuff. I will always, it's funny because we talk about like, oh, people will upsell and get an extra product to get free shipping. But when you can say to them, like, literally, they're going to buy 3 products and you get 3 products, full size products for free. It's such a no-brainer, because if you have people at a party, I guarantee you they're going to love the keto coffee, the chocolate greens, and the collagen. So that has kind of been something that for me doing parties, I feel very confident that people are going to buy the all-in pack, and then they're going to add on Hydrate and TFX and, other things. And you're going to have much higher volume of sales when you're in the room with people. And people are saying, oh my gosh, this is so delicious. Oh, I need collagen. Oh my gosh, my collagen tastes awful compared to this. And it's like they're selling each other on it by being there in the room. And the energy and the confidence that you get from being around people trying the products, like that's what it was. Every time I wrapped people, I was blown away at their own results. And it was like reminding me and building my confidence every time of what these products could really do. So I would just encourage you guys to definitely that is something that I'm getting loud about with my team again, of being like, we have to get back to doing parties. And I think that if you plan on filling your calendar with parties, I did a wrap party every Wednesday. It was like my husband worked nights and he hated me doing parties. So I would do them when he was at work. And every Wednesday night was Wrap Wednesday. And you know what? I knew I didn't have enough people in my network that were interested, that were local. And so I made it my goal to go out blitzing, and I would go into the mall and I would walk around and I would look for people to blitz, and then I would invite them to come to these events that I was doing every Wednesday night. Sometimes nobody would come. Sometimes 5 people would come, sometimes more. But I always told people then bring a friend, and I tried to utilize those opportunities for my distributors to come, because the community is the glue that keeps people plugged in this business. So getting your team on Zooms, the energy that creates when we're all here together, right? It's the same thing as if you can get people together in the room. And so it started off that I was like doing these parties every week, and it was just like a couple people from my team that would show up, but then they could use that as an opportunity to bring their guests. And I was creating a wrap party opportunity for them every single week. So if you have local team around you, or if you don't, start a local team by doing events yourself. Because if nothing else, if nobody shows up at your party, you've set that time aside to plug in to your business. You've prepared yourself mentally to talk about the products. You've maybe prepared a beautiful little display that's great for a photo opportunity. And like, I was taking a picture and be like, thanks so much, everybody who came tonight.
Right.
I know there were so many of you who wanted to come and couldn't make it. Don't worry, I'm going to do another one next week. And
now
so,
with Facebook Lives, I mean, you can still use your whole setup and do it live. Like,
totally.
hey, everybody just left, so I'm gonna just,
That's
But
right.
I love that idea. Like, it's so simple, but like, make little invitations and go to the grocery store, go to the mall, go different places, and just be like, hey, I'm having an open house, for
And
me,
I'd say
maybe
things, I'd go into the mall and I'd say things like, I'm doing an exclusive VIP event just for the mall staff. And like, I'd
ooh,
tell them it was like just for them. Like, can you invite the other girls here? Hey, do you guys have a staff room in the back? Do you have a cork board? Can you put up a couple? And I literally stapled them like little squares of paper onto my Blitz cards. And I would leave those and they'd pin them up on their cork board in the back room. And I met strangers through doing that, So yeah, it's
and
always,
that's genius. And especially like, there's a couple people have moved to new locations, like, perfect. So what does like your day look like?
yes. Okay. So for me, honestly, I've been trying to get up since green carpet is what really triggered it for me. I've been trying to get up every morning at 6 a.m. And it's really my kids have started getting up earlier and earlier with me. So it's not quite as private as I wanted it to be and as it was in the beginning. But my kids are now getting up and reading books with me in the morning. And my son actually like just read a personal development book and made notes for like of his ahas from the book. And it is so cool when you see your kids start to duplicate that. I saw one of our leaders was doing dream boards with her kids today because they were off on strike. And it's just so cool when our kids get to see us working this business and duplicate that. So
Well, and can you
I get up.
imagine if we did personal development, like when we were in junior high or high school, like how much smarter we would have been, and like in athletics, in school, like if we like, I'm so grateful that we have it now so we can teach our kids. So anyway, that was cool.
Really, like my 10-year-old believes he can do and be anything that he wants to, and
Mhm.
he's going to be like a motivational speaker himself, I swear. Um, but so getting up early in the morning, and that is like my prayer and devotion time. And I also do my personal development. And it's been that I think is so huge in like getting your mindset right, in not going on your phone for the first hour at least of your day. Because when you wake up and you look at your phone first thing in the morning, it sets the tone of your entire day. So put your phone like in a different room. Pam Souter told me to start putting my phone in the bathroom. And it's crazy because you have to get up for your alarm for one and go to another room, which really wakes you up. And then you just need to intentionally not look at your phone in the morning because you need to be in control of what goes in and what sets the tone for your day. And whether it's, I would definitely recommend affirmations. And so sometimes, I mean, some people are using their phones for affirmations or for reading. Don't get me wrong there. I'm just saying, don't go scrolling Facebook first thing in the morning. And when you get up, affirmations are huge. In the Bible, God says, you have not because you ask not. And I think that we are so afraid sometimes to like allow ourselves to really think about what we want. And I found in the business, it's like, when you make a list of potentials and you write their names down and it's like, you're hoping they're going to come in this month. I start writing them like every single month at the beginning of the month. I write all those names over again because I think the power of like speaking that out. And I find like within 6 months, most people will have joined with it before I've written their name 6 times. And I think we need to really speak into life what we want in our business. So if you find that your team right now isn't at the level that you want, start speaking affirmations about the type of team members that you want to come on board. Even right down to like personality and things that are going on in their life. Like if you know that you don't like working with people who carry some certain baggage or whatever, you know, what triggers you, figure out those things, figure out what you want. If you're looking for high level business driven women, you need to ask for that. You need to expect that, because otherwise you're just going to be desperately looking for anybody to join your business, and you're going to spend a lot of your time coaching people instead of finding people that come in and are already like ready to run. So speaking affirmations over what you want, over where you're going, over your rank, over, I am a mass customer and distributor enroller. Customers come effortlessly to me. You know, my customers value and appreciate when I offer them additional products to help them reach their goals faster. Like you speak that into life so that you take that fear out of your mind too, of saying like, oh, I'm afraid to like upsell this person, or I'm afraid, you know, that I'm going to be too pushy. And, you know, start speaking that. The people that I talk to today welcome what I have to offer. Like just those little things make such a difference in your energy and how you talk to people. And then if you're sending like voice notes and stuff like that, like your energy just really matters. So moving around while you're doing that kind of stuff is key too. But the affirmations, like stand up, walk around while you're saying them, because it just flows a different energy through you. And it's neat because like my kids speak affirmations. My daughter was speaking affirmations to her unicorn to put him to bed. You know, it's like you see them doing the things that you do, and it really does make such a difference. So affirmations, personal development, get your mind right. I usually don't get on social media until after my kids have gone to school and I've kind of settled my house, and that's usually when I start. I make my coffee at 10 a.m. So that's kind of like my trigger of my day is starting. I've been doing celery. And so I've been getting on social media to go live to make me commit to doing the celery every day for the last little bit. But yeah, so those are some of the things I'm doing in the morning. And then through the day, it's like coaching calls with the team. I still build my business very much face-to-face, person-to-person. So I'm doing phone calls and follow-ups, or I'm going out and meeting people. I do a lot of coffee and lunch dates. And even with my team, I'm like, hey, when can we get together and work? It's just sharing that energy and being in that space, I find makes a big difference.
Yeah. And even just like with your day, you know, a third. And I feel like sometimes as you're going for promotions and maybe you get charted for diamond or you're charted for this, that we focus more on like helping our teams than working our own business. And like, we need to be the fire. Like we need to be the leader, the one paving the way and doing, like being the runner that we want to continue to attract. And so I think that's really important to make sure that first taking care of your mind, making sure that you're doing your work, and then having time available for your team as needed. So anyway, I appreciate you so much being on. It was fun to see you at conference and on your panel, and I mean, definitely goals, and just really grateful for you and your example.
On the white couch, girl. You have so much to offer, and I just have to say to your team, you guys have such an amazing and dynamic leader. I am so grateful. You know, Tamika's such a giving heart, and so she came on our leaders, one of our leaders pages, and started sharing just some of the things she's doing that's working for her. And her green spoke to my green, and I like reached out, and that's how I found that message from long ago I had missed. And you know, it's just when you have that heart where the more you give, the more you get in this industry. When you're the leader that says, I don't care what anybody else is contributing, I am going to contribute 100%. I'm going to be the hero on this team until somebody else steps up. I'm going to lead from the front and show other people how to do it. And I promise you, the more you give, the more you get. So thank you for your heart, Tamika, because I just loved how you put that out there, and you got my wheels turning, gave us some great new ideas for new distributor training and things like that, with just keeping things simple. And so I appreciate you, and I'm honored to have been invited to share with you guys tonight.
All right. I'm going to get this recording up on my YouTube channel. You're on Instagram, right?
I am not.
So if you want to take a quick picture or say thank you, then you can just tag her handle on Instagram. So then that way, you know, you can kind of celebrate and thank her that way. But you guys, thank you so much for being on tonight, and let's get to work. We've got lives to change.
Let's do this. Can't wait to see you guys grab those bonuses.
Bye.